Hey everyone, I just wanted to do a quick video on the marathon with the latest updates from what has happened since I built it and put it together. Real quickly, I left everything just the way I didn't clean it up or anything because I want to show what it's like after I've used it. One big thing in the build, you'll notice there's a few screws along the top. They sent 50 M5 by 10 screws for the build, and it requires over 100. But the support has been very responsive. You know, obviously there's a time shift. I'm on the East Coast and they're not, and so there's a delay just between messages. But overall, they've been really helpful. I'll cover a couple of things that have really reflected that. One is this end stop here. Let's see. I can't see the screen anymore. There we go. The end stop here in the red. The original one, let's put it up here. The original one here was probably at 1 or 2 millimeters too short on the tip, and so when it would the head would come in, if you look down that way, it needs to break that sensor, this sensor right here, so that it will know that it's hit the end stop. And it wasn't doing that; it would grind the gears. So the original fix was to put a little sticky thing on the end of it. That worked fine. It didn't affect any accuracy or anything like that. The other problem that support has been helping with, the screws, obviously they've agreed. They're actually sending some more screws so I can finish the build with the proper screws. I did buy some, which you can see here. They're the silver ones, just as a temporary fix. The big thing though was the second extruder. I'm getting an error on heating, and so big thing was, one of the things that I was really interested in was to see how easy it was to get inside and mess around with any of the internals from the heads. And actually, I'm actually pretty impressed with the way that they've done it. To take this piece with the fans off, the enclosure, there's a couple of screws on the outside fans, and then it just slides off, which is nice. Otherwise, it's pretty easy to get to all the stuff. The back part here comes off with a couple screws. Overall, I think I've been really pleased. The one thing that is not fixed yet, but I'm gonna try to find some washers, is this little what do they call it? The ooze blocker, which is useful. I will point out it is useful. The head will go over there and sit on this metal, but without this tension, it sits down, and what it will do is it will actually, at the head, like when it gets to the end, it'll hit this, and not in a good way. And so I just put a couple of zip ties together to keep the tension there, and it works fine. A couple washers I think will help. The screws don't go all the way in. As far as print quality, so here's some examples of what I've printed. This was the thing that the second print had broke, and I think what it ended up being was the heater ended up not working or getting stopped working. But this was a two color PLA. It was meant to be a trophy, so it goes gray and then up to like a brown baseball glove. But I was pretty pleased. I didn't do anything as far as settings go. I just used their out of the box Prusa slicer settings. I didn't do any supports or anything, so that if the little quality on the bottom of the letters, those kind of just to see like what the tolerances would be. But you can see like where it goes horizontal, it's a little different. If it comes out like sloped, it's not too bad. But that was actually going to be a really successful print, I think, but did not finish, unfortunately. The second cool one I did to kind of gauge tolerances. My younger kids go to an elementary school where there's a water tower, so I built the slots into this part, and you can see the tolerances were really good. I've never done something like that, but they fit really well with a little bit of tension so that it works, and then the top goes on the way it should, but I needed to make it a little taller. You can see kind of the overhang quality here. A lot of this is just dialing in speeds and supports and extrusion. The little bits where you see the globs, that's me seeing what the speed tolerances could be and going a little too fast. Honestly, I didn't need it to go that fast, but I wanted to try it and see how it went. I thought this turned out really well. I did do organic supports to hold the tower part up, and they came off pretty well. There's some strings I just haven't cut off. I just wanted to leave them for the video. Today, though, I wanted to put it to the real test, which to me has always been printing this red Fedora. I did it with TPU, and so it's a flexible filament, and I wanted to see how difficult how difficult it is to get off, which it is on there real well. I did a raft and also did supports for the brim and the hat. So with PLA and PETG, it's a little easier to get things off of it because you can just snap them. TPU is a lot different if you've never printed with that. But I always like this model, and it is on Thingiverse. I'll put a link in the video to it. It's fun. There's a black ribbon that can be printed too, and I'll do that later with not flexible filament. But you can see the squishy TPU is fun. We'll see. Let's see how these come off here. Maybe not at all. Last time I printed this with the supports, it was really hard to get these off. Yeah, I don't know. We'll have to cut those off. But overall quality was good. There's a little bit of blobbing. Once again, I just dialing in the extruder is probably the biggest thing. One thing, and you'll notice I have. It's funny. I was looking for that exactly to pull that off. I do wish that there was some form of latch to keep this open, because right now this is where kind of the home is. I may try to change the completion so that it drops the Z-axis, just because it's a little easier to go in through the front doors for things. But yeah, overall, the filament feed comes in through the back, and so didn't have any trouble with the TPU getting in there. Although I did, just because it's TPU, I did pull the tube off and actually give it kind of a significant push in to get it to actually load. Let's see, interface down here. This, you should just be familiar if you've done Klipper. I think this is typical. I think one of the things I just started using that I actually really like is the unload button on the extruders. So I just hit that. So you'll see it'll say filament T0 unloading, and then it'll give it a little it'll heat up a little bit. So you can see it's going to heat up to 185. And then when it gets there, then it'll actually do a retraction. We'll see how long that takes, but so that button's been nice, just so that I don't, like, if I'm in here trying to switch filaments, I can just tap that and it'll do what it needs to get it done. Alright, so it's at temperature. And then once you load it, after you hit the unload, once you load filament back in, it will actually, you know, it takes a couple seconds and then it will actually heat up again. Yeah, so there it's retracting. I do have, the position I have this in is a little inconvenient for this, but you can then, once it retracts, you know, you can pull it out. And I'm not going to print in TPU for a while. It's just such a finicky filament. But the unload. So once you load it in, if you want to switch out, once you push it in, and you can see the green and red lights to designate what, like this has filament loaded. This one does not. When you get filament in, and maybe we can do this. Let's see. We'll do. Hold on. I've been doing some experiments with other things. I don't know what to load. I'll just wait. But anyway, you push it in, then it'll actually do a little. It'll push film out to purge it, and then it'll be ready to load, and it'll tell you. Overall, really good. I think I like the quality. The dialing it in. You know, if you've had a 3D printer before, the defaults that they give with the Prusa slicer, they worked, but they didn't have TPU. Like, you may have to dial in special filaments and things like that. But I think overall, it's a good purchase. I'm gonna do a bigger print, see how it goes with just the single head, but it would be nice to have that second head going for various reasons. But I did do a couple of benchies before it stopped, just in copy mode, and that worked fine. It was super easy in Prusa Slicer to get it done. And yeah, I'll just leave it with that. And if you have any questions or comments, put them down below and I'll try to respond. Thanks.